Hi, my name is Trey Du. I'm a support engineer here at E1 Solutions. Today I'm going to be telling you how to fix the filter cannot be empty error that you can get when using a BC OData query data source. So once you have a BC OData query source and you set up a filter, probably similar to something like this where you have some field either equals or greater than or less than in here, and then you are comparing it against a global or a variable that most likely isn't going to be the same all the time. Right here, I just have a global customer test. So once you find that in your data source over here, by just going to data source, you can see this. You can see what this is set up as, and then we can go and find this global customer test, and we can go and see what that is set to by default. Mine by default won't have anything in there as soon as I can find it here. Yep, by default there's no value in there. So I am setting it in the integration and then querying on that. So let's go to the integration where I am setting this. So I just have a simple integration called BC Customer Global Test. And the only place I really can be setting this is either in a, not a restriction. You can't do it in a restriction or a calculation, but most likely you're going to do an integration pre-task, because for you to even get data with that filter, you're going to need to set it before you run the query, basically. So once you go into your tasks, go and find your integration pre-task and find it where you are assigning that global variable. I just named mine global assign here. So in here, I just have simple logic that you might typically run into, and that could be causing the issues here. So this is most likely what you have set up in yours. So you're probably comparing a value to see if you should be assigning your global variable to one thing or assigning it to another. So just in this case, I have, if this is test, assign global customer test to false. Otherwise, assign global test to an empty string. So to fix this error, you could either change this to true or any other value that isn't just a blank string, so that it would not complain about the empty value in there. Otherwise, if you want to leave this blank for whatever reason, you can create another clause down here that actually has a return statement. And you're just going to read, if the global variable is empty, return false. And then otherwise, if it's not empty, if it has any value whatsoever, you can return true. And then on a return true, or on a return false, you're going to want to make sure it quits and it doesn't actually run the integration at all. By default, it's going to be go to next step, but you're going to want to make sure that changes over to quit if you're going to do this method. The easiest is to make sure all all values are going to be assigned or has a possible value here. So just like I have it set to false up here, most likely you're going to want to set this to true. Another case you might run into, you might not have this else statement at all. So you might just have, if this is test, return false, and then you have nothing under that. This is also a case where you could have this global customer test set to an empty string, return false and true, and that would also work. But I would recommend always having a else statement here to make sure you catch all possible variations. So if I actually do run this, right now my global variable for manual is set to 1, so that is going to fail. It's going to be empty, and it's just going to cancel the processing. So I just have this running to file. So we'll get to see this one fail as expected, and we won't get the empty filter error like you might be getting right now. And it's just going to say the pre-map task failed, map will run reporting a failure, instead of cannot find the empty filter, you know. The filter cannot be empty error right there. So that is a pretty simple and elegant solution to get rid of that error, and it will also just tell you when it's failing and whatnot, and what it's failing with, so you can fix that with whatever you are ending up doing.